Hi everyone, I'm absolutely stoked you're here. Welcome to Tides of the Heart podcast, a podcast about love in all of its forms, the kind that anchors you, the kind that drifts away, and everything in between. I'm your host, Reagan Ernst, and I'll be sitting down with guests for them to share their love stories, their real ones. Stories that don't always arrive neatly wrapped, but carry the weight of something true, something that echoes beneath the surface. In this first episode, we'll be sitting down with someone who left everything behind for 2 months to solo travel Europe and somewhere along the way met her lover. Never ever give up looking for love because oftentimes love comes at the most unexpected times.
I am so excited to chat with you today and let you share your love story. A few nights ago, I was scrolling TikTok and came across your video of you going on your first 2-month solo travel trip to Europe. And it was a video of the before and after of you so excited to go and coming back crying, hugging your now boyfriend. So, if you just want to tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of what life was like before you went.
Yeah, so I'm so happy to be here and kind of just share my story. But just to introduce myself, I'm Kayleigh. I am a travel advisor, a content creator, and also an author of the book Solo Travel for Scaredy Cats. So after I took that solo trip last year, I just got super inspired to kind of share my story with other people and, inspire other women to step outside of their comfort zone and kind of build this life of their dreams. So I help other women to do this with my book that I mentioned. And also, I do one on one coaching as well for anyone that wants to take a solo trip and kind of learn how to step outside their comfort zone and build up their dream life.
That is so cool. I love that you wrote a book on that. All the time, I'm like, I feel like I should write a book about XYZ, and you did it. That's so cool. Your story particularly intrigued me because I've always been like, that's exactly how I'm going to find a man. I'm going to go travel by myself. So, a few years ago, I went to Hawaii on a solo trip and I stayed in a hostel. And I literally remember telling my friends, and I'm like, I could die happy right now. Like, I am so in love with life. It just like brings out a whole different you inside yourself. So, what made you want to go on your first solo travel trip?
Yeah, so I agree. Solo travel is very empowering and it kind of, as cheesy as it is, like changes your life. Um,
Yeah.
and so before my solo trip, just to give like a little backstory on like what my life looked like before then. So um last year I was working for a travel technology company and I was living in Miami and this job was like my dream job. And I worked with that company for the past 2 years prior to that. And it was like I got to book celebrities hotels and like go to all these festivals and events. And I eventually moved down to Miami to be closer to this company. And I like loved it for 2 years. And then once I moved to Miami, I kind of felt like it just wasn't fulfilling me anymore. And it was like so glamorous and shiny at the beginning. And then I was just like, this just isn't really like serving me. I didn't feel fulfilled. And I just kind of felt like something was missing. So I started going to therapy and really most of the things I would talk about in therapy was like, I hate my job. And like, I swear I would spend like 1 hour sessions with my therapist being like, my boss said this to me today. And like, just like getting upset over like the whole work environment just felt kind of like toxic to me. And so I was talking to my therapist about that. And then the other thing I was talking to her about was like, I'm never going to find love. And I'm such an independent person and I love doing things on my own. Like, clearly, that's kind of why I took a solo trip. Like, I love going to the store alone, like, just taking myself on date nights, whatever. Like, I love doing things alone. And I was always very, like, apprehensive to get into a relationship. And so that was one of my main concerns that I talked to my therapist about, which is so funny. Um, and I was like, yeah, I'm never gonna like find a boyfriend. And I wasn't really ever dating just because I always felt like, okay, one day, hopefully, I'll find the one person that I'm gonna be with. So I wasn't really dating, but I wasn't really sure if that was gonna happen for me. So I was working with this therapist, and then I just kind of wanted to start working with somebody that would help me kind of like pave my path to like where I wanted to go. I knew I wasn't happy and I wanted something for myself. I think like my higher self was calling me in this direction. And one of my friends had been studying to become a manifestation coach. So I started working with her too. And this was like a month leading up to my solo trip. I was working with her a couple times a week and manifesting what I wanted my dream life to look like. And this was like going to Europe. I didn't know really I wanted to take a solo trip yet, but I was like, I want to go to Europe. I want to dive into doing content creation. And yeah, so I was just kind of building this life up with her. And then there was this one day when before work, I went to yoga class, and at the end of yoga, you lay on your mat and you do shavasana if you've done yoga before, and you just kind of close your eyes and take a minute. And I remember like closing my eyes and being like, God, like, please just give me a sign to quit my job. Like, I was so nervous. I was like, I don't have anything lined up. I have no job. I have no plan. Like, but just give me a sign that like I need to quit this job. And an hour later, I got a phone call that I was being let go. And
My
so,
gosh.
yeah, it was just a sign for me that this is like I'm on the right path. And I was so nervous to quit, so nervous to quit. And then like I just felt like God like took this burden off of me. And it was the best feeling ever. I remember crying like happy tears, and
Oh,
it ended up working out for me because they still paid me for like another month or something. So that ended up helping out my solo travels. So
yeah,
if
for
if I
sure.
had just quit, like I wouldn't have got that compensation probably. But so I got let go, and immediately I was like, this is my sign. Like I have to go to Europe. Like there's no better time. I have no job now. Like I have some savings, and there's really no better time. So literally 2 days later, I booked a flight and I was on the plane to Florence, Italy with no plan. I had a hostel booked for 5 nights in Florence because I had been to Florence once before and I wanted to go back. But that was kind of everything leading up to it. And then I just kind of went from there after I got on that plane.
That's so crazy. I always say this like with sickness that like if you don't take the time for yourself and for your body like before being sick, your body's gonna make time for you. And I swear like that's
Mm-hmm.
how things like that are. You're questioning it. And now it was absolutely not a question because you had no choice because you were like, oh, it's
Right.
just so cool when it like happens like that.
Exactly.
But
Yeah.
I think it's so funny because people that want to go on a solo travel trip and like they want to go to a hostel or like people are telling them to stay in a hostel, but they're like, I just don't know if I'm gonna like meet anybody there. And, like it's such a specific type of person that will like up and go somewhere by themselves, stay in a
Mm-hmm.
hostel, not a hotel. It's way
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
And like I think whenever I was in Hawaii, I was in a room with a guy from Russia, a guy from Germany, and then a girl from Oklahoma. And
Mm-hmm.
we couldn't have gotten along better. So
Yeah.
it's so comforting because everybody's just there doing the same thing.
Totally. Like it's a community that I didn't know existed. And my roommate that I was living with in Miami, when I told her I was going on the solo trip, she's like, you have to stay in hostels. And I was like, I don't even know what that is. Like, and then she's like, oh, you just like stay with other travelers. I'm like, that sounds weird. Like, I don't want to do that. And then I finally was like, okay, like it is much cheaper. And like, I don't really like the idea of staying in a hotel by myself. So once I did it, then I realized like, wow, there's a whole community of people out here that drop everything and go on trips by themselves and meet other people. And
Mhm.
it's just such a cool community and experience.
It is. This is off topic, but I remember like the first night I literally slept with like my purse around my wrist because I'm like, nobody's taking it. And then after that, I'm like, oh, like everybody is so cool. And
Yeah.
nobody's gonna do like anything like that in a hostel. And if so, like you are gonna be like
Yeah.
shunned.
No, exactly.
That's
Exactly.
so funny. Okay, so the reason you're here, take us from the top, all the feelings, everything from meeting your now boyfriend.
So how we met, I had been traveling for a month. I went to Italy and Spain, and then I ended up in Portugal. And I just had this weird like feeling I had to go to Portugal. I know I've made a couple TikToks about that. And um, I stayed at this hostel in Ericeira, and when I checked in, one of my guy friends was in this WhatsApp group at this hostel in Portugal. And I was like, what the heck? So like I call him and I was like, have you stayed at this hostel? It was the Selena hostel in Ericeira. And he's like, yeah, like I love Ericeira. And I was like, give me like any recommendations you have, whatever. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll send you those over. And he's like, actually, I know a guy that lives there in a town nearby. And he's like, I actually feel like you guys would get along. Like, he's super nice and like, whatever. And he sent me a picture of him on his Instagram. And I was like, yeah, he's like so cute. Like, and so he put us in a group chat on Instagram and we kept trying to get together for like a week. And like, he was out of town. And then like, he was like, you should just stay. And like the weather that week was kind of rainy. He's like, next week's gonna be sunny. Like, you should just stay another week. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, don't have to like twist my arm. So I ended up staying another week. And I also loved this town. It's like a super cute, like surf beach town. You would love it too, because you sorry.
I need to go.
Yeah, it's the best. And so we finally get together and we like go out for a glass of wine and we just like instantly hit it off. Like I remember just like feeling well, like I remember I Ubered there and I saw him and I was like, he's so cute, like very much like what I like. And I was just like, he's so cute. And then I instantly just felt so like at home with him and at peace. Like
Yeah.
he just felt like instantly a friend. Like within the first 5 minutes, I felt so like comfortable and yeah, so it really just started out as like a friendship though. Like I was just like, oh, okay, I'm like meeting my friend's friend, like whatever, it's a friendship. And then he asked me to hang out like the next day and I was like, no, like I'm just gonna like stay in the hostel and like whatever. Like I had kind of made friends at this hostel, so I'm like, I'm just gonna like hang out with my friends here today. And then the day after that, he was like, okay, do you want to like come to the beach with me and my friends? And I was like, okay, fine, I'll come to the beach. So went to the beach with them and um, I just had my guard up. Like I was like, I'm on a solo trip. I'm here for me and like this isn't a love story. Like,
Little did you know.
yeah, I'm like, this is not happening. And so then, whatever, we had a great night that night. And then I went to Lisbon for the weekend because some of my friends were in Portugal actually. So I met up with them. And then what happened after that? Oh, so I went out for the weekend with them. And on that Sunday, I believe, I was like super hungover and I like don't drink that much. So like this was just rare. I think I was just like out with the girls. I was like, oh, yeah, had one too many. And because up to this point I didn't really drink because I was just like by myself. So when I was finally done, I was like, okay, I'm gonna chill a little bit. So I was hungover and I decided to just like get a hotel that day. I was like, I need a break from the hostel life. I got a hotel. I'm just like laid in bed, whatever. And he called me on that Sunday and he was like, hey, like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, I'm like really not doing well today, just like relaxing and whatever. And he was like, okay, like, do you need anything? Like, do you need me to like bring you food or something? And he didn't even know like I was in Lisbon, I don't think. And I was like, honestly, like if you could bring me water, like that would be great. And so he like he's like, okay, send me like where your hotel is. I sent it to him. He's like, wait, I'm literally 2 minutes around the corner. It was so weird. He was in Lisbon that day, like doing some photography work. He was 2 minutes from my hotel. So weird. And so he came, he brought me like food and water and just like we just laughed the whole day. It was like the most wholesome day ever. And like literally that day, the third time of hanging out with him, I was like, okay, like I actually think I'm starting to like fall in love with him, which is so crazy. And this is the day that like it was just the first time we hung out, like no friends around, no drinking, like it was just so wholesome.
Just
that he like just us two and like I was just like showing him like funny YouTube videos like Cody Co on YouTube and he like thought it was so funny and like I don't know, we just had like the best wholesome day and I was like maybe I'm like starting to fall in love with him but I was like no like I kept being like I don't want this to go anywhere and So then the next morning, wake up and I'm like, okay, I have to go. Like, I have to leave. I have to leave Lisbon. So uh, he drives me to the train station, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go to Faro, like this place in Portugal. And so he takes me to the train. We're both like sad, and he's like, okay, like good luck on the rest of your trip. Like, if you want to come back to Portugal before you go back to the US, like let me know. So I go to Faro, and it's like a 3-hour train away. And the whole time on the train, I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why did I leave him? And whenever I got to Faro, I like just started crying. And I was like, oh my God, I miss him so much. Like, why did I just leave? And I called my friend that introduced us, and I was like, what do I do? Like, do I really like go back for this guy? Like, I just met him a few days ago. And he was like, just go back. Like, if you're feeling like you should go back, go back. So the next day, I got on a bus and I went 3 hours back to him. And then basically, like, the rest is history. I like moved in with him for a month. Um, and we just like spent every day together. And he just became like my best friend, and we fell in love like all within like these like 3 weeks. I think I was there, and then I had to go back to the US. But it all happened so fast after that. But it was really like a movie to like leave and then come back. And yeah, I think I just had my guard up so much that I really didn't want it to like get into anything deeper, because I was like, this is gonna be so hard. But I just let it happen, and I'm so glad that I let it happen like that now.
Yeah. Did you guys talk
Yeah.
about feelings at all? Or did it just like mutually you knew that you both were like, shoot, we're in love?
Yeah, like that night when I was in Faro, like I was calling him and we were texting each other back and forth, like, I miss you. And like we were both like, this is so weird, but like, why do I miss you so much? And like he was saying the same thing to me. And um yeah, so it was kind of like we were talking about feelings a little bit. Um, but yeah, I would say like probably 2 weeks in to like knowing each other, like we said, I love you, which is
Really?
crazy.
I
Yeah.
always say timing has nothing to do with love, especially like if
No.
it's your person or even just you are in love. Timing, it does not matter. It could be 2 days, it could be
Yeah.
a month, it could be years.
Yeah. I
So
totally
sweet.
agree. Yeah.
Literally gives me chills. It is like a movie. You literally need to like send this into like a production company and be like, just make it.
I
Put
would
my
love
name
that.
at the end.
Yeah.
I think it's such a good reminder though that what's meant for you is absolutely not going to miss you, because clearly that you had all the opportunities to not be in the same spot or him not be on the same wavelength. But again, it's like that wavelength is going to be the same for both of you if you guys are meant to be with each other at that point.
Right. Totally.
That's so sweet. So, what was the point that you were like, wow, this is more than just a connection?
I think my mom called me, and like I hadn't talked to her for like a week when I went back and like kind of moved in with him. And so when I called her and told her everything, she was like, whoa. So like she's like, so you're coming back here with a boyfriend? And I was like, no. I'm like, no, like we're not gonna start dating. Like that's crazy. And then I think I was just still had my guard up, even though like I was having so much fun with him, and like it was just like the best. I was still like, am I really gonna start dating somebody that lives on a different continent than me? Like that's crazy. And I think just as time went on, I just felt so comfortable with him. And like, I really feel like we built a strong foundation of friendship. But also, it's so weird because like we were becoming such good friends, but also like falling in love at the same time.
Yeah.
But it was just like, I don't know, just like that comforting, and like we were always laughing, like we're still always laughing together. I think that's so important. And I think when he started saying like, I'm falling in love, like he would say that to me, and I'm like, oh my God, like what? That's really when I was like, yeah, that's really when I was like, oh my God, like I think that's what I'm feeling too. Like I had never felt this way about like anyone. Like I haven't really dated at all much, like just like little short relationships, but nothing like this, like nothing like where it was like I couldn't describe it until like he said like I'm falling in love. I was like, whoa, like me too.
It's like
But
groundbreaking.
yeah,
That's
like
so, I love it.
yeah, like I'll never forget that when he first said that to me. He was like, "Oh, I'm falling in love," and we were on the beach, and then he went in the water to go surf, and like I called my mom and my sister like on a conference call. I'm like, "Oh, it's like I think we're in love," and they're like, "What?"
Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Was there any moment that you had fear or doubts with you guys? Clearly not at first, because like you said at first, you're like, nah, I'm not gonna date him. He's on a different continent.
Right. So like any doubts? Um,
Like
I
if it
mean,
would
yeah,
work or
yeah, definitely. I had my doubts and I didn't fully want to be like dating somebody, yeah, another country. I was like, there's just no way this is gonna work. Like, I
Mhm.
definitely had my doubts, and I think talking to my mom, she was just like, everything's figure outable. Like, if this is the person you want to be with, like, you guys will figure it out. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's true. Like, we will
Like I can
figure it
actually
out.
try this.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
I think after talking to her, I just kind of let go and I was like, let me just see how this unfolds. And like, if it's meant to be, it will be and we'll make it work.
So what do you think drove those feelings of doubts and fear?
I think just because, like I said, I always kind of had this feeling that I was gonna meet somebody and like that was gonna be it. Like I haven't really like gone on that many dates or like given anyone chances. Like I'm very like
Love
I know
that.
what I want and like I'm not just gonna like date somebody because I'm bored or like because I want to date somebody. Like I that's just and like if that's you or anyone like that's totally fine. That's just like for me, it's just hard for me to connect with some people on like such a deep emotional level.
Mhm.
So I think I've always just kind of been like, okay, it's gonna be the one person that I'm gonna be with that I'm gonna like get into a serious relationship with. And I think I was excited and I did have a feeling that like this was him, but I was also scared because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, is this the moment I've been waiting for? Like, is
Yeah.
this really like my person? Like, I can totally see how it is, but like, that's also scary. And
Yeah.
so I think I was just teetering between the two. I'm like, I could totally see this man being like the one for me, but also like I'm scared to like give up my independence and like I was
Mhm.
saying I was talking to my therapist before about it like I'm nervous to give up my independence and like I don't want somebody to like ever take that away from me, but I think when you find the right person, you don't feel like you're giving up anything for them. Like they just add to your life and like he still gives me my independence and like we still have our own lives that we live and then we come together at the end of the day to like be a couple, but
Mhm.
I don't feel and I think that's also why I knew he was the right one because I didn't feel like my independence was taken away with him.
Yeah, that's such a good reminder for me because I am so independent, especially having my daughter. I'm like, it needs to be done this way, it needs to do this.
Yep.
And I always say
Mhm.
the right person is gonna like allow me to naturally let that down without feeling like, oh, you're trying to take control, you're trying XYZ, where I'm just naturally
Mhm.
like, yeah, take control, please. I'll finally relax. And it's just that's a big thing to have.
Totally. Yeah, kind of like letting go of control is it's definitely hard, but I think and it's still something that I have to like learn and like work on with him is like releasing like things are always like the way that I want to do them versus like doing them with a partner. Like certain
Mhm.
things in your life are different and like we've definitely had to make a lot of sacrifices in our relationship to go back and forth and like all of that. But I think when it's the right person, you're willing to make those sacrifices and kind of like
Mhm.
let go of control and be like, okay, let's work together to make this work for both of us.
Yeah.
So,
No, I love that. So coming back from Europe, clearly you were in love. And what changed in you, not the relationship, but like in you, clearly you were still independent because you have to be, especially when you guys aren't together.
mhm.
How do you feel?
It's so liberated and just like free. And like I could do anything, honestly. And I made a TikTok whenever I came back too about um I had to move out of my Miami apartment like 2 weeks after I got back from Europe that first time. So it was kind of like crunch time. I had to sell all my stuff. And I remember my mom being like, "You're moving out in 2 weeks, like you haven't like sold anything, like blah blah blah." And I was like, I just have this overwhelming sense of calmness after doing what I just did. Like I just traveled across Europe for 2 months or like a month by myself and then a month with my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But I just did all of that in a tiny suitcase in a backpack. Like I can do anything. Like I felt so powerful after that trip that I'm like, I'm not going to stress. Like, I don't know. I just feel like once you do something like that, you just don't let the little things bother you anymore. Like, you're sleeping in a hostel bed, you're like living around other people, you're washing your clothes at the laundromat. Like, you have to kind of become a low maintenance person and somebody that doesn't stress about the little things, or it's gonna kind of take over your entire trip. So I think coming back to the US after being in Europe, traveling like that, I just felt so calm and like everything's gonna work out. I don't have to stress about these
Yeah.
little things. So
So
yeah.
funny you say that because coming back from Hawaii, being in the hostel, I was like, and it's different because they're English speaking, it's still America, so yours was like a step higher even. But I remember being like, I've never been very materialistic at all. But I was like, I could literally sell everything in my apartment and
Yep.
like move anywhere and literally not care. Like none of the
That's
stuff
how I
matters
felt.
to me.
Yeah. Like I got rid of like 8 garbage bags of clothes when I came home. I was like, I don't need all this stuff. I just wore the same outfits for 2 months. Like, I don't know. It's such a liberating feeling in so many ways, I think.
Yeah. So now that we know where it all began, fast forward to now, what does it look like for you two?
So basically, since we've met, we've been going back and forth between Portugal and Florida. So, and there was also 1 month in there when I went back that we moved to Montenegro for a month, which was interesting. Yeah, it was fun, but we were in like the most remote town and we had to like walk uphill everywhere and it was, it was kind of brutal. And like you can't drink the water there. So like you have to get buy water from the stores and the stores are closed on Sunday. It's like a whole thing. It was fun. And now we're back and like we have so many funny memories and um but yeah, then we went back to Portugal and then we've pretty much been going back and forth every few months and we just had our 1 year anniversary last month.
Mm.
And then he's back in Portugal now, and I have some work stuff in Florida this month, so I'm gonna go meet him there in July, and then I'll be there through the end of September. So I'll go there for 3 months this summer. So we're looking at getting an apartment in Sarah, which is the town that we met in. So it's just crazy, like full circle moment that now we're apartment hunting there. So
Oh, I love
so
that.
we haven't really done that much long distance. The longest we've gone is like 2 months without seeing each other, and this time it'll be like 6 weeks. So we haven't like thankfully had to do long distance too much, which is really nice. But
That's impressive. I know it's so cliche, but like if he wanted to, he would. And look at you guys. And look at you.
yeah, I mean it definitely hasn't been the easiest. And like
For
we've
sure.
had to like take time off of work sometimes. I mean, I work remote, so it's easy for me to kind of work from wherever. But for him, he had to leave his job for a little bit to come here. And but we've made it work somehow. And like our families have been the best, being able to let us stay with them. And just it's also been a really great time for like me to get to know his family really well, him to know mine. So it is such a unique experience. And there's definitely like it's not all glamorous. Like we've definitely it's a lot of flights back and forth. It's a lot of you know, spending money on certain things and taking time off of work and time away from our friends and family, but it works for us and we're
Yeah.
happy. So, yeah.
Good. What do you think has been the biggest challenge so far? Is it the distance or the culture?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, I think for both of us, it's difficult to step into a new culture when we're visiting each other. Like, as fun and as cool as it is, it can also be a little bit isolating. Like when I'm there and in his house and his whole family speaking Portuguese, and like I don't speak Portuguese, but I am taking lessons now so I can
I saw
learn.
your TikTok. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm trying to learn because it definitely feels isolating, and like I've we've had like talks about it, and like there's really nothing to do besides like most of his family does speak English too. So and they're the best. Like he has like the same family layout as I have. So there's like two boys and two girls in his family. That's the same as mine. So I was also like, oh, that's sweet. But
Yeah.
no, his family's the best, and they're so sweet and like understanding, and they always speak English to me, so that's really nice and helpful to help me kind of like adjust there. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely hard to feel like an outsider going from like living in your country you've lived in your whole entire life, like me living in America, going to Portugal. Like I definitely feel like an outsider there a lot of times, but um also we just make it work, and like I've come to terms with like I am not going to feel completely at home here, and like that's fine. And I think it's also helped me grow a lot and have empathy for people that come to America and this isn't their home country, and I think he feels a little bit the same when he comes here. So it is difficult to kind of adjust to that culture, the culture shock, but it's something that we both work on, and we try to help each other feel comfortable in each other's home countries. Like here, I brought him to like a Portuguese restaurant here, and like I'll just like, and there's only one around. Like there's not many Portuguese things around here. So like anything I can do to make him feel more at home, I try to do that, and I think he does the same for me there. So, yeah.
So I was gonna ask if your perspective has changed on anything, like given this love, but clearly it's changed on probably so many different levels. Like on it, you guys aren't even like in different cities, you're literally in different countries. And like there's just a lot. Is there anything more besides just like living in different countries and accepting that it's not home? And do you have any other big changes inside of you?
I'm trying to think. I think like I was saying before, I was super apprehensive about getting into a relationship with somebody that lives on a different continent from
Well,
me. And
yeah.
like even just like long distance, like I never really believed in that, and like I always just thought that was like so hard. And I always looked at these cases of people that were like the show like 90 Day Fiance, or shows where people are getting married to people from another country. I'm like, how are these people meeting? And like are they really like that in love where they need to like move to each other's country? Like I remember thinking this, and now I'm like, oh my god, this is me. Like
I'm the
now
crazy
I
person.
understand. Yeah, like now
Funny.
I understand the reason behind these shows and everything. It's like this is so real, and like I don't know, nothing can like separate me from like wanting to be with him, and
Yeah,
it's just yeah.
that's so, I love it. So after I found your TikTok, I was of course like watching through all your videos. And as I told you on the phone, I will literally just watch Vows at night and just fall asleep to it. I literally love so much. But I like made me want to cry every time you talked about him or had a video. It was just like you were just radiating with your feelings, your love, and it's just so sweet. Um, and just you talking about how you felt like God wanted you in Portugal. Like you don't even know why. And like out of everything, it's a whole different country. I feel like I'm supposed to be there. And now you met your boyfriend. It's just, I think it's such a good reminder for people that like just go with how you feel. Your gut tells you so much, especially when it's something like love, because it's inside of you. And I mean, it's just nobody else can tell you what to do.
Totally. And I think it's just like going outside of your comfort zone is like really where all the magic happens. Like if you are staying in your bubble, and like I'm such a homebody too, which is funny because I love to travel, but like I also love like my like being at home and being comfy. But yeah, I think it's just like if you want to see change in your life, no matter what it is, like a relationship, a job, like just something better for yourself, you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone and like take
Yeah,
the leap, even when it feels scary, because like that's literally where all the good stuff is. So.
And this is probably not great advice for everybody, but I am one that really doesn't like ask people for too much advice on big changes in my life because anytime I've taken people's advice, even if it's good, there's always a little bit of regret or like, oh, I wish I did something different. So now I just always turn into myself. And I swear it's like, even if I'm don't get the outcome I wanted, at least I know everything I did, that's what I like truly believed. So like this, go
I
on
love
that solo
that.
travel trip. You're gonna be fine. If you could go back in time, what would you tell your past self before you went on your solo travel trip?
Let me think about this. I think I would just tell myself to let my guards down and like let everything happen how it's going to happen. Like everything that happened on that trip taught me something, even if it's as little as like, I don't know, overpacking. Like, I don't know, everything just taught me something. And I think also just like within the relationship, I had my guard up for so long at first. And I think just like letting myself know that like it's gonna be okay and you don't have to be so like protected. Like, yes, like look out for yourself and your safety. But I don't know. I think it just all goes back to like the going outside of your comfort zone. And I think I would just tell myself, like, this is about to be the most transformative journey. Like, don't be afraid to just like lean in and like go all the way. And yeah, I think I was so nervous, even when I got to hostels and like talking to people and stuff, I would just get so in my head. And like, I've struggled with anxiety and social anxiety for years. And I think just being like, nobody cares. Like, people want to meet you and just like put yourself out there, whether it's friendship or relationships, whatever, put yourself out there to meet these people because they're not just going to come to you. Like, you got to go out and like, you know, put out, put out your feelers and like see who you want to be friends with. So I guess just like don't hold back and
Yeah,
put yourself out there.
that's huge. I literally just saw a TikTok the other day and it was like this guy at a coffee shop. And it was like clearly a super cute coffee shop in some city. And he's like, guys, go to a coffee shop and just sit there. Like you're gonna find a woman. And then people in the comments were like, but like they're not gonna come talk to me. And he's like, you have to go talk. Just do it. Like again, people want you to come up and talk to you. So be that person. And like it's same with compliments. If somebody is like, oh my
Totally.
gosh, I love your dress, you're like, well, thank you. So then if you get
Yeah.
somebody else, you're like, I could have just made their day.
No, exactly. Like, don't hold it in. Like, I don't know. Everybody loves compliments and everyone wants to meet people. And like if the person is like, I don't know, not friendly, it's like, okay, move on and like at least you tried,
Yeah.
you know. So
You have
that's
nothing to
what
lose when it comes to that.
I agree.
Okay, so scrolling your TikToks, all your comments are like, how did you manifest this? What prayer did you pray? How do I find this love? What encouragement, besides like putting yourself out there, do you have for those people?
So I think, let me think about this.
Clearly, there's so many different factors that play into it, but everybody's like, give me what you have. I want that.
I know, like how to manifest it. I really think the best thing you can do is like focus on yourself. And like I said, I've always been such an independent person and just like I put so much energy into myself and like becoming the best version of me. And like I want to show up as the best version of me. And then one day I'll hopefully attract a partner like that. And I really think just like putting your best foot forward and like putting all of your energy into yourself. How can I wake up every day and become a better version of me? Whether for you, maybe that's working out or eating healthy, or maybe that's journaling every day or going to therapy or um, creating a vision board of what you want your life to look like. It's like whatever that is for you, how you can pour into yourself. I think that's the most important thing. And the right partner will follow and will come. And like when the time is right, it will come to you. And I really just think like focus on you and like that will attract in your right person.
Yeah. Whatever you believe in, whether God or the earth, it's like just let it do its thing and it's gonna
Totally.
happen.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, I truly mean it. I love this so much. Like every bone in me, I hope that this just grows day over day, and I'm sure that I will be able to keep up with it on socials.
Yes.
So where can
Totally.
everyone find you so that they can keep up?
Yes. So you can find me on Instagram and TikTok. It's Kayleigh Bebe. It's just my name. Do you need me to
Perfect.
spell it?
No, that's
You can
okay.
put
I'll
it-
put it in the description.
Okay. But yeah, that's my Instagram and TikTok username. You can follow me along on there.
And I know you mentioned it first, but so you have a book on solo traveling and you have a surf trip to Portugal this fall, which I'm so envious and I want to go so bad. Unless 2-year-olds can come, I don't think I'm joining this time.
I know.
Can you talk about it a little bit?
Yes, so I am teaming up with World Packers to bring a surf camp trip to you guys. It's in Costa de Caparica in Portugal. So it's about 20 minutes outside of Lisbon, and there's going to be about 30 of us. It's all like young people that love to travel, and you don't need to know how to surf. I'm a terrible surfer, I'm still learning too. So we'll have like surf lessons every day, yoga. I'm going to teach a little workshop, which is like a little surprise. And then just like going out trying food, wine in the streets of Lisbon. So it's going to be so much fun. It's the first week of September, September 1st through the 8th. And yeah, and you can also check out my solo travel book. Everything's all linked on my Instagram as well.
That sounds so magical. I'm so excited for you and for everybody else that gets to go. Kayleigh, thank you so, so much for being my first guest on Tides of the Heart. It means so much that you took the chance and took time out of your day. And truly, whenever I commented, I was like, never. She doesn't want to do a podcast that isn't even created yet. And here you are. I literally couldn't be any happier with it. And I just am so thankful.
Well, you did such a great job, and I loved this conversation, and I can't wait to see more guests that you have on the show. And I just wish you all the best.
To those listening, maybe you recognize a piece of yourself in this story. The risk, the wonder, the transformation. That's why we're here, to hold space for the real, complicated love in all of its forms. If this story sparks hope in your heart, share it. If you have a story of your own, I'd love to hear from you. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like, comment, and share, and I'll help others hear these stories too. Until next time, take care of your heart and notice who drifts into your life when you're not expecting. Bye!